What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Sports here. I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about Matt Duchene. So we're going to be talking about whether or not I think he'll get traded, where he will get traded to. There's a 5-team list that Sportsnet posted that they think, and these are some of the teams that I was talking about. So I'm going to go through that and go through some of the things that I agree with or disagree with. Before I start this video, if you want to follow me on any of the social media platforms, I'm post on Facebook, Twitter, and I have a Snapchat for this YouTube channel. And also, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'd love to have more hockey conversations with you. And yeah, let's get right into the video. So we all know Matt Duchene has had a pretty up and down career, and that's something that a lot of hockey fans have started to take notice to now, because people have really been diving into Matt Duchene's statistics because of all the trade rumors and what Colorado's asking for Matt Duchene. Now, he had a pretty good rookie season. He was a Calder Trophy finalist, and he deserved it. He had a really good season. I believe he was putting up almost a point per game, and he's a 30-goal scorer. He scored 30 goals before, but this past season, he only put up 41 points, and I believe that's the lowest that he has in his entire career. And we've learned that the asking price for Matt Duchene is a lot. And at this point, looking at what teams have offered so far, according to rumors and whatnot, I believe Hamonic and a first was offered, or just Hamonic straight up for Duchene. And me personally, I think that's probably too much. And I'm a fan of Duchene, and it sucks to see that he's, first of all, going to leave Colorado, because I don't think that they're too far off from, putting some pieces around what they have already and going, because they do have a lot of really good pieces. They've got Landeskog, they've got Barrie on defense, of course, Nathan MacKinnon. They don't really need to tear it all apart and start all over. They have Varlamov in net. The team isn't bad. They could easily, bring in some depth pieces and grow from, getting prospects ready, because they don't have the worst prospect system either. And in 2 or 3 years, be at least a team that can compete. But instead of stripping it all down, they want to get rid of one of the core pieces and see what else they could bring in to change the culture and, get things right in Colorado. And I think Matt Duchene has a chance to be good on another team, and maybe Colorado isn't the best fit, even though I would like to see him stay there. Let's also remember that Matt Duchene is only 26 years old, and he has a cap hit of $6 million per season. And the thing is that teams are probably a little worried about is the fact that in 2 years he will hit unrestricted free agency, and if you're going to give up the farm for somebody, you probably don't want him to be like, well, I could leave. This may be a case of teams may be looking to make a trade and then seeing if Duchene will agree to be locked up for that team. And there's a couple teams that, well, maybe one team that I think could really do that, and maybe a second team depending on somebody else's future. So let's look into Sportsnet's article, and I'll give you some of my thoughts, because like I said, I wrote down teams and a lot of them were the same. So I figured, why not? Let's just look. I've got my laptop here. Let's get into it. The first team is the New York Islanders, and we all know John Tavares has been asking for help. The Islanders acquired Jordan Eberle, so obviously that's a good fit there. And, the Islanders have been looking for a guy like Matt Duchene, a guy that can come in and play on their second line probably. That's what Elliot Friedman was saying too, is that he's better as probably a second fiddle. He's not good as a, number one guy having all the pressure on him to do everything. Sort of like Phil Kessel. And having Duchene in that spot, I think, would really benefit him and his production. And in the Hamonic deal, the Islanders actually got back some picks. They got a first, a second. I can't remember exactly what picks they got there, but they got some picks, and people have also been saying Brock Nelson, who was their number 2 centerman this year, could be a piece that could go the other way. But I also don't know if the Islanders should give up a bunch of picks and giving away a guy who scored 20 goals for Matt Duchene, not knowing what his production could be. Now, on the other hand, if Duchene is going to come back and play a really good season, put up 25 goals, maybe 30, that's a really good piece for the Islanders, and they're back in business. We all know that they want to compete and they want to get better, and they want to lock up John Tavares. So bringing in players that can play around him and locking up guys like that, it would be really good for the Islanders. They obviously want to keep Tavares, so bringing in a guy like Duchene could help that as well if you're committing to Duchene long term. So I'm not too positive what they could give up. Obviously, some picks and maybe a younger player and a roster player could be involved. But the Colorado Avalanche have been looking for defensemen, so we would have to see who they would be able to give up. The next team on the list is the Los Angeles Kings. Now, this one probably is going to be a little bit shorter of a description. I personally don't think that this is the best fit, but at the same time, I could see him playing there and it working a bit. So, the Kings obviously want scoring. When it comes to the trade aspect of it, I don't think that the Kings really have any defensive prospects or defensemen that they're willing to part with to get Duchene. One thing that was written here, and I have seen in other rumors before, I'm not sure if people are just taking information from there, but people are saying that Gabe Vilardi should be a guy that's included in a deal if it happens. That's another thing that I'm kind of iffy about, because people have been saying that Vilardi's shot, is actually a shot that is NHL ready, and obviously he probably won't crack the lineup this year, but he was discussed to go in the top 3, so this is a guy that could be a piece, but I'm not sure if LA would be willing to part with so much. I'm not sure which picks they could also give up, because again, the defensive prospects and the D-man that they would have to give up aren't there. So this shouldn't be a fit, but it kind of is due to the fact that the Kings want more goal scoring, and if Duchene can score, well then that'd be pretty good. The next team on here is the Columbus Blue Jackets, and after a 108-point season that they had, they're looking to add, they're looking to get better, and giving Matt Duchene would be good, but Matt Duchene would come in and be a guy that they would look for scoring right away. You would be between him and Wenberg for the number one guy, and I don't know if Duchene really wants to take that on, but playing in Columbus could work for him. The only player that Sportsnet and myself also I agree is that Murray could be the only guy that goes back. Again, I'm going to drive it home. The Colorado Avalanche want defensemen back. And if that is the move that needs to be done, and Columbus wants to add to an already impressive season, that's what they're going to go for. They just re-signed their coach to a 1-year deal, Tortorella. And they're obviously looking to get better this year, and Duchene could be a good piece for Tortorella to work with. And he would probably put up some points. They've got a lot of talent. Atkinson, just to name one player, he would probably work pretty well with him. And we would have to see. But Columbus was a fit that I could see happening. It's just you couldn't do a Murray straight up for Duchene with what Colorado's asking for. So you would have to include a pick or another roster player or a prospect in there, which, again, seems like a ton for Duchene. The next team, and my personal favorite pick out of the teams that I'm discussing, is the Carolina Hurricanes. This is a team that would be pretty dangerous adding Duchene to their lineup. They already have their defense core locked up, and in a trade they could get rid of a young defenseman, maybe Jake Bean, I don't know. Again, I don't want to mention too many players because, oh no, you can't trade him, whatever. I'm just saying these are the teams hypothetically that could be in on it, and teams that have been discussed before and in multiple articles and stuff like that. I wouldn't bring up anything that's like way out of the way of rumors, whatever. This is a deal that could happen, and it would be a good fit in my opinion. Carolina is a fast team. Duchene is pretty quick, and if he can work well with the forward group that they have, it would be really nice for a guy like Duchene to be on a power play, playing with some of those good defensemen that they have back there. Like I've mentioned, their D-core is pretty much a lock. It's really good there. They've got Falk, Hanifin, of course, and they're going to look really good next season. And adding a guy like Duchene to a team that I personally think is pretty good and one of my favorite teams in the NHL. Sorry, Leaf fans, but Leafs are number one. I'm just saying Carolina is good, but I think it'd be cool to see him there. And again, you would have to move a young defenseman and maybe a pick or a lesser role roster player. Now this fit would just be overkill, but the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, could you imagine him? He would be the number 3 guy, obviously behind Crosby and Malkin. You would have him as the number 3 guy on that team. They would be really dangerous. You would probably have him playing with Phil Kessel, more than likely. Or, no, probably not, because Malkin and Kessel kind of struck gold a little bit there. But you never know. He could end up playing with him at some point, and it would probably work. And Colorado could look at a guy like Mata or Pouliot. I know Mata's had some injury trouble there, but Pouliot's a guy that they could look at as well. Colorado could also look at their roster players that are controllable, cheap controllable players. Sheary is a guy that obviously wouldn't happen. Gensel, another guy, wouldn't happen. But Pittsburgh does have a lot of depth, and they could look there as well. And Pittsburgh probably isn't afraid to deal picks at this point. They're going for a three-peat, and if Duchene goes there, it could be a three-peat. Let's be real here. Duchene getting added to that team, I think cap would be the only issue. I'm not sure how close they are to the cap ceiling, but Colorado would have to eat some money, and I'm not sure they want to do that because that would just increase the value that Pittsburgh would have to go back there, and I'm not sure what kind of package Pittsburgh would put together, but that's just another option. And like I said, I just wanted to make this with what has been rumored, what I was thinking, and this article actually worked pretty well, just so I could remember things and didn't have to write it down. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know what your thoughts. Where do you think Duchene could end up, or will he stay in Colorado? If you're new, please subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. I'd love to have more hockey conversations with you. And yeah, follow me on the social media accounts like I mentioned. I'll see you guys in the next video. Go support other YouTubers. Peace.